Operation Frühlingserwachen was the last major German offensive of World War II. The offensive was launched in Hungary on the Eastern Front. This offensive was also referred to in Germany as the Platten Sea Offensive, in Soviet Union as the Balaton Defensive Operation, and in English as the Lake Balaton Offensive. The offensive begun by the Germans in great secrecy on 6 March 1945. They launched attacks in Hungary near the Lake Balaton area. This area included some of the last oil reserves still available to the Axis. The operation involved many German units withdrawn from the failed Ardennes offensive on the Western Front, including the 6th SS Panzer Army and the 1st SS Panzer Division Leibstandarte SS Adolf Hitler. Almost inevitably, Operation Spring Awakening was a failure for the German army. German plan. After the Ardennes offensive failed, in Hitler's estimation, the Nagy-Kanizsa oil fields southwest of Lake Balaton were the most strategically valuable reserves on the Eastern Front. Hitler ordered Sepp Dietrich's 6th SS Panzer Army to take the lead and move to Hungary in order to protect the oil fields and refineries there. The Germans planned to attack against Soviet General Fyodor Tolbukhin's 3rd Ukrainian Front. The 6th SS Panzer Army was responsible for the primary thrust of the German attack. The army was to advance from an area north of Lake Balaton on a wide front. They were to push east through the Soviet 27th Army into the Danube River. After reaching the river, one part of the army would turn north, creating a northern spearhead. The northern spearhead would advance through the Soviet 6th Guards Tank Army and move along the Danube River to retake Budapest, which had been captured on 13 February 1945. Another part of 6th SS Panzer Army would then turn south and create a southern spearhead. The southern spearhead would move along the CO Canal to link up with units from German Army Group E, which was to thrust north through Mohacs. If successful, the meeting of the Southern Spearhead and of Army Group E would encircle both the Soviet 26th Army and the Soviet 57th Army. German 6th Army would keep the Soviet 27th Army engaged while it was surrounded. Likewise, the German 2nd Panzer Army would advance from an area south of Lake Balaton towards Karpova and keep the Soviet 57th Army engaged. The Hungarian Third Army was to hold the area north of the attack and to the west of Budapest. Soviet preparation. By the second half of February, Soviet intelligence identified large German tank formations in western Hungary, and soon realized that preparation for a major offensive was underway. Using the experience gained in the Battle of Kursk, Soviets built multi-layer anti-tank defense using 65% of available artillery to create 66 anti-tank ambush points over 83 kilometers of front in Lake Balaton area. The depth of the defense zone reached up to 25 to 30 kilometers. To ensure sufficient supply of war materials and fuel, additional temporary bridges and gas pipelines were built on the Danube River. German attack. On 6 March 1945, the German 6th Army, joined by the 6th SS Panzer Army, launched a pincer movement north and south of Lake Balaton. 10 Panzer and 5 infantry divisions, including a large number of new heavy King Tiger tanks, struck 3rd Ukrainian Front, hoping to reach the Danube and link up with the German 2nd Panzer Army forces attacking south of Lake Balaton. The attack was spearheaded by the 6th SS Panzer Army and included elite units such as the LSSAH Division. Dietrich's army made good progress at first, but as they drew near the Danube, the combination of the muddy terrain and strong Soviet resistance ground them to a halt. By the 14th of March, Operation Spring Awakening was at risk of failure. The 6th SS Panzer Army was well short of its goals. The 2nd Panzer Army did not advance as far on the southern side of Lake Balaton as the 6th SS Panzer Army had on the northern side. Army Group E met fierce resistance from the Bulgarian First Army and Josip Broz Tito's Yugoslavian Partisan Army, and failed to reach its objective of Mohacs. Soviet counterattack and subsequent operations. On the 16th of March, the Soviets' forces counterattacked in strength. The Germans were driven back to the positions they had held before Operation Spring Awakening began. The overwhelming numerical superiority of the Red Army made any defense impossible, yet Hitler somehow had believed victory was attainable. On the 22nd of March, the outnumbered remnants of the 6th SS Panzer Army withdrew towards Vienna. By the 30th of March, the Soviet Third Ukrainian Front crossed from Hungary into Austria. By the 4th of April, the 6th SS Panzer Army was already in the Vienna area, desperately setting up the city's defenses against the anticipated Soviet Vienna offensive. Approaching and encircling the Austrian capital city were the Soviet 4th Guards Tank Army, the Soviet 6th Guards Tank Army, the Soviet 9th Guards Army, and the Soviet 46th Army. The Soviets' Vienna offensive ended with the fall of the city on the 13th of April. By the 15th of April, the remnants of the 6th SS Panzer Army were north of Vienna, facing the Soviet 9th Guards Tank Army and 46th Army. By the 15th of April, the depleted German 6th Army was north of Graz, facing the Soviet 26th and 27th Armies. The remnants of the German 2nd Panzer Army were south of Graz in the Maribor area, facing the Soviet 57th Army and the Bulgarian 1st Army. Between the 25th of April and the 4th of May, the 2nd Panzer Army was attacked near Nagy Kanizsa during the Nagy Kanizsa-Kormend offensive. Some Hungarian units survived the fall of Budapest and the destruction which followed when the Soviets counterattacked after Operation Spring Awakening. The Hungarian Szent László Infantry Division was still indicated to be attached to the German 2nd Panzer Army as late as the 30th of April. Between 16 and the 25th of March, the Hungarian Third Army had been destroyed about 40 kilometers west of Budapest by the Soviet 46th Army, which was driving towards Bratislava and the Vienna area. Aftermath: Operation Spring Awakening was a failure for Germany. Given the timing of the offensive and the relative strength of German forces compared to the Red Army, the plan was doomed from the start. This failure is known for the armband order that followed. The order was issued to the 6th SS Panzer Army commander Sepp Dietrich by Adolf Hitler, who claimed that the troops, and more importantly, the Leibstandarte, did not fight as the situation demanded, as a mark of disgrace. The Waffen-SS units involved in the battle were ordered to remove their treasured cuff titles. Dietrich did not relay the order to his troops. Order of battle: the Axis forces, elements of the German Army Group South German 6th SS Panzer Army, included the 1st SS Division Leibstandarte SS Adolf Hitler German 2nd Panzer Army German 6th Army Hungarian 3rd Army. Elements of the German Army Group E, the Soviet forces, elements of the Soviet 3rd Ukrainian Front 4th Guards Army 6th Guards Tank Army 9th Guards Army 26th Army 27th Army 46th Army 57th Army Bulgarian 1st Army.